The administration of United States President Donald Trump has announced that all immigrant detainees have been transferred out of a Florida detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz, effectively shuttering the controversial facility. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, said on Wednesday that everyone being held in the state-run facility had been transferred out, citing concerns about the start of the Atlantic hurricane season.
Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, Esmail Baghai, has announced that a memorandum of understanding with the United States has been finalised and signed electronically by both sides. He added that the agreement has already gone into effect. It's been called Ramageddon. AI's insatiable demand for hardware has caused a worldwide shortage of memory chips. Now, outgoing Apple CEO Tim Cook is warning its customers that your next Mac, iPhone or iPad could be more expensive thanks to surging memory and storage chips costs. In a recent interview, Cook told the WSJ that price increases are unavoidable, in spite of efforts to absorb chip costs that have increased fourfold since last year. He described the situation as unsustainable.
Harry Kane scored twice in the first half as England eventually saw off Croatia 4-2 to launch their World Cup assault in Texas. Jude Bellingham immediately after half-time and substitute Marcus Rashford with 5 minutes to go ensured a winning start for Thomas Tuchel's side after Croatia had fought back to level at 2-2 in Wednesday's game.
Harry Kane scored twice in the first half as England eventually saw off Croatia 4-2 to launch their World Cup title assault in Texas on Wednesday. Jude Bellingham immediately after half-time and substitute Marcus Rashford with 5 minutes to go ensured a winning start for Thomas Tuchel's side after Croatia had fought back to level at 2-2.
CCTV footage released by police shows thieves using a bulldozer to tear an ATM from the front of a bank branch in eastern England. The entire raid took less than 4 minutes, leaving behind a trail of damage. A top Huawei executive's admission that the Chinese telecom company illegally conducted business in Iran can be used in the upcoming US trial against Huawei, a US judge has ruled. The ruling was filed in Brooklyn Federal Court on Tuesday. Chihua Shen has spent more than 2 decades as a venture capitalist, but he thinks like a cultural anthropologist. As a co-founder of Goodwater Capital, a firm focused exclusively on consumer and prosumer technology, he has built a portfolio spanning entertainment, healthcare, fintech, and live experiences, with investments in companies like MIDI Health, Fever, and Monzo. He was also, as a 27-year-old associate at Accel, a person who initially found a 6-person company launched from Harvard called the Facebook. That ability to read human behavior at scale informs everything from his view that Americans will never trust a single app with both their social lives and their finances, to his belief that the gap between the most advanced AI model and what you can run on your phone, once as wide as 2 years, will shrink to 3 months within the next year.
A senior United States official has read the text of a memorandum of understanding to end the US-Israel war with Iran during a call with reporters. The account is the clearest yet from the administration of US President Donald Trump on the deal, which is scheduled to be signed in a ceremony by both sides on Friday.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has warned that the United States should not interfere in his country's upcoming presidential race, which is being held in October. Wednesday's remarks came after both Lula and his US counterpart Donald Trump attended the Group of 7 G7 conference in Evian-les-Bains, France.
Clothing the player Token Mac Xing was the hottest trend in Silicon Valley earlier this year, with CEOs encouraging employees to push AI usage as far as it would go. Then the bill came due. Uber reportedly blew through its annual AI budget in a few months. Some companies cut Claude licenses for parts of their org, and Meta killed its internal leaderboard.
Snap's long-awaited AR glasses specs didn't have the best debut. The company's stock hasn't been on the healthiest trajectory lately. It's dropped 30% over the past year. Following specs launch, it sank more than 5%, falling from $5.86 a share on Tuesday to a low of $4.83 on Wednesday morning. As of this writing, the stock still hasn't recovered the position it held prior to the announcement.
Former Sequoia Capsule managing partner Roelof Botha is joining SpaceX's board of directors less than a week after the company went public in the largest IPO ever. SpaceX announced the appointment in a filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission on Wednesday. It said Botha was appointed to fill the existing vacancy on the board and that he will serve until SpaceX's next annual shareholder meeting. He will also join the SpaceX board's audit committee. Botha didn't immediately respond to a request for comment.
Ghana midfielder Thomas Partey, who is facing trial on rape charges in Britain, lost a court challenge on Tuesday that would have allowed him to enter Canada for his side's World Cup opener in Toronto. Ottawa denied the Villarreal player a visa over the British charges, blocking him from playing for Ghana against Panama on Wednesday.
After spending 25 years in Israeli prisons, Abdul Karim al-Ramawi embraced his son Majd for the first time. Majd was born in 2013 through sperm smuggled from prison and used in IVF treatment. He grew up without ever meeting his father until now.
Cristiano Ronaldo's record-equalling sixth World Cup got off to a disappointing start as the Democratic Republic of the Congo, DR Congo, secured their first-ever point at the football finals, drawing 1-1 with Portugal in their Group K match. Yoane Wissa's header cancelled out João Neves' early goal on Wednesday, and the African side, appearing in their first World Cup since 1974, when their country was known as Zaire, more than held their own.
The mother of Cape Verde's star goalkeeper Vozinha has been granted a visa to enter the United States in time for her 40-year-old son's next World Cup match. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries announced Vozinha and his mother will be reunited in Miami in time for the match on Sunday. Jeffries shared Wednesday on social media.
A new lawsuit filed by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, FTC, is a showcase of how hard it's become to police the app stores for scammy apps. The suit alleges that a company known as Genesis Tech defrauded consumers and routed revenues overseas through the use of shell companies designed to conceal its identity and hide its assets. Genesis Tech's network allegedly included a series of subsidiaries incorporated in Cyprus and operating in Ukraine, which marketed its apps to U.S. consumers. Among its brands were fitness and nutrition apps Mad Muscles, Harna, and Unimeal by Amoapps Limited, PDF Guru and PDF Master from Gurudox Limited, fashion app Lumi from Bramall Limited, horoscope app Nebula by Obrio Limited, habit and personal productivity apps under the brand Wisey by Coflimin Limited, and others.
The Telecommunication Reorganisation Amendment Bill, recently passed by the National Assembly, has come under scrutiny in the Senate amid concerns that it could weaken protections for private property rights. Lawmakers have expressed reservations that the proposed legislates the authority of the government and telecom operators to access privately owned land for infrastructure projects such as mobile towers and fibre optic networks.
The United States on Wednesday read out the text of the interim US-Iran agreement to halt the war in Iran and open the Strait of Hormuz. According to a Reuters report, the agreement, read to reporters by a senior US official, outlines in 14 points a high-level understanding that defers many of the most difficult issues, such as how to wind down Iran's nuclear program until a final deal is reached. It paves the way for a broader 60-day negotiation period due to begin in Switzerland on Friday.
Cristiano Ronaldo's record-equaling sixth World Cup got off to a disappointing start as the Democratic Republic of Congo secured their first ever point at the finals, drawing 1-1 with Portugal in their Group K match in Houston on Wednesday. Yoan Wissa's header cancelled out João Neves' early goal, and the African side, appearing in their first World Cup since 1974, when it was known as Zaire, more than held their own.
The United States Federal Reserve will hold interest rates steady at 3.5 to 3.75% amid heightened inflationary pressures on the U.S. economy. The central bank announced the decision, which was unanimous, on Wednesday following its first two-day policy meeting under the leadership of Kevin Warsh, who took over the job of governor from Jerome Powell last month.
United States President Donald Trump has suggested that the signing of a memorandum of understanding beginning the process of ending the US-Israeli war with Iran could still fall through. Speaking to reporters from the Group of Seven G7 summit in Evian, France on Wednesday, Trump was non-committal when asked how confident he was that the signing planned for Friday would proceed. In various statements throughout the day, Trump said Washington would resume bombing if Iran does not behave.
Ukraine's bid to join the European Union, EU, received a boost this week. Accession negotiations finally kicked off, and Ukraine is hoping that will provide some security guarantees as the war with Russia drags on.
Iran's foreign ministry has said that the signing of a memorandum of understanding in Switzerland, expected to take place on Friday, could take place in the presence of President Masoud Pezeshkian and Donald Trump. Previously, Iran had said that Washington and Tehran would be represented by Vice President J.D. Vance and Parliament Speaker and top negotiator Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, respectively.
For years, social media giants controlled what users saw in their feeds. While people could follow accounts, like posts, or hide content they didn't enjoy, recommendation algorithms controlled what was shown to them. Now, social platforms are handing over some of their power by allowing users to personalize their algorithms with the help of AI.
Cybercriminals have compromised tens of thousands of Fortinet firewalls and VPNs used by major companies all over the world, according to two cybersecurity firms. The widespread hacking campaign, which is ongoing and has been dubbed FortiBleed, appears to not involve abusing any unknown vulnerability in the targeted devices, but rather on a more basic issue. Companies may not be changing passwords to the firewall, nor making sure that the credentials they use for sensitive systems exposed on the internet are not already known by hackers.
Anthropic is joining Frontier, the carbon removal collective, contributing to a new $915 million tranche of funding and marking its arrival as the first AI startup to join the group. The new funding nearly doubles pledges to Frontier, bringing the total to $1.8 billion. So far, Frontier has contracted nearly $700 million across more than 50 projects to remove 1.8 million tons of carbon. Companies that have pledged money to Frontier typically use the company's carbon removal credits to reduce their publicly listed carbon footprints.
At the G7 summit on Wednesday, world leaders like French President Emmanuel Macron and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi voiced concerns that the US could cut off their country's access to top American AI models at any time. Macron warned G7 leaders and top AI executives, including Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, and President Donald Trump, over lunch that if the US from one day to the next can turn off the switch, it could not only harm the economies of European customers, but also damage the AI firms themselves. Authorities have sealed a well-known fast food outlet, Redapple, operating inside F6 Markaz, Islamabad, over allegations of issuing unverified sales tax receipts. According to initial reports, the action was taken after concerns were raised regarding the alleged issuance of non-authenticated or improper tax invoices. Tax enforcement teams later intervened and sealed the premises.